Okay, guys, a very good evening to all of you. I'm audible to everyone. Yeah, guys, I'm audible to everyone. Okay, great. Okay, I guess that uh, only five participants have joined till now. So, okay, let's fine, guys. Let's wait for just 2 more minutes for the participants to join. Then we'll start the session. Okay, guys, so let's start the session. I think it's already 6:35. So yeah, guys, before going forward, I think we have completed like till the fourth boundary condition. Okay, I think this is what we are discussing yesterday. We are discussing about that how to write like any formula or how to use like any like a function to let's say create like some sort of maybe like any new column or if I want to create any new measure, so how we can actually approach towards like a formula. And even guys, I think I believe that yeah, definitely like few formulas you guys are able to. Hello, जीवांशु मीटिंग में हो भाई. So few formulas, guys. You actually, I think, I believe that you guys are also able to like understand, and like meanwhile, I think like some of you are even able to write like the formulas, at least like some formulas by your own. Along with that, guys, I think I have given, I already shared the like PPT where the boundary conditions are listed, and I told you that. You can even try to like let's say take a help of like some AI tool and try to create the final boundary condition by yourself. You can try, you can give it a try. Okay. Yeah, guys, please let me know that if you try something or like even if you write these like four boundary conditions, the different formulas, if you just try to revise all those things, if there is any like a doubt or if there is any question from there. So before heading going ahead with today's session, I just want to confirm that if there is any like a question or doubt you guys have. Yeah, guys. No. Okay then. So now guys, let's then start with like today's question. Okay, so we are going to start with let's say the last boundary condition for this particular case study, and then definitely guys I will take like the another one. So one second, guys. Give me 1 minute. Yeah, okay, guys. So now let's say okay. So now we I think you can just try to open like a previous like a notebook. Okay, so the Power BI desktop like a file. Okay, and into the same file now I'm going to add like that new column where we are going to check our next boundary condition that if there's a rapid change in a location. Okay, so if someone is trying to change the location rapidly means like within 2 hours if there's a transaction come from to like a different location, so in that case guys we'll assume that there is like then again this transaction will be is actually a suspicious one, and if it does not happen then we can say that okay it's a normal transaction. Okay, so over here guys we need to write a formula where we need to check that if there's a city is like a different from the city of users immediate like a previous transaction. Okay, so over here we definitely have let's say some column like user location. So this is a column we like need to use, and a similar kind of a like a formula guys will be used over here also, like we used for creating that I think time difference minute. Okay, so a similar kind of a formula will be used over here also because we are going to use the same function called earlier max. Okay, so guys again the flow will be same. Okay, so let me just try to open this time difference minute. Okay, so this is the formula guys which we discussed yesterday. So we need to utilize the same formula over here. Only the columns are actually different. Okay, so over here we now trying to look for the like if there's a location change. Okay, and then guys first we need to create that new column like let's say we can name it as location like a change flag, and then I can try to create that like a boundary of like 1 and 0. Okay, so let me just create a new column, guys, over here. Now we'll write it as, let's say, location change flag. Now we'll check that. We'll take one variable. Okay, so now guys, this is you can see that VAR stands for a variable. So variable is something which we can try to create, and it is going to be the like any name, whatever we supposed to be. Okay, so I'm going to create a name, create a new variable called previous city. Okay, just try to check that what is the like a previous city, and that previous city, guys, is nothing but going to be the current location, okay, or the last location of like any user. Okay, so again, guys, for that we are going to use that maximum function. So we'll start with a calculate, and we can start like calculate, guys, over here. And inside a calculate, we can try to pass the particular column where I need to check that whether this is the location or not. Okay, so we need to check, guys, the last location. So again, just like we try to check the last transaction time, and for that we are using the max. Okay, so like the latest transaction time. Similarly, guys, over here we need to check the latest like location of a user. Now for that, guys, we need to use the function called max. Now this function, guys, needs to be applied on this column called user location. Okay, so I have to like just call this column over here. So the column name is location. You have to take this exactly the same column name over here. I think we have over here as user location. Sorry, so user location. Okay. Now we have to uh, close this bracket. Now, guys, this particular line will simply gives you the latest location of like a user. Now we have to filter it out in terms of the user, because right now, guys, we are just taking the latest location, but we are not like mention the user over here. Now over here, guys, the same formula will like work that like earlier one. Okay, so we are going to use that same formula, and it will follow the same hierarchy, starting with let's say the filter, and then inside a filter, guys, I need to pass my table name first. After passing the table name, now we have to check that whether the like the user ID, we have to take it over here, whether this user ID is equivalent to the earlier one. Okay, so again, earlier user ID. Now we just try to match that if both the users are same. Okay, and similarly, guys, over here we also need to notice their transaction time. So we are checking that if the transaction time, which is uh, in this case, guys, I think our transaction time is nothing but we have stored inside the timestamp. Yeah. So if it is, let's say, lesser than, again, the earlier, and again we'll try to check the earlier timestamp. So where we have this earlier timestamp. Yeah. Now we'll just try to check that, make sure that all the brackets should be closed. Now, once all the brackets are closed, now we can just try to return over here that if the location is so we'll try to check that if the user location is equal to the earlier location. Okay, so over here, this user location, current user location. Now, guys, for equivalent over here, there's a different sign. Okay, so we're not using double equal to or something. We are using something like this. Okay, Now this symbol guys over here, the lesser than and equals to sorry, the lesser than and greater than. This symbol over here guys will actually help you to understand is actually the symbol of equivalent. Okay. So just right now guys, so we have created one variable over here called previous city. You can see that this whole variable guys over here is nothing but a previous city. Okay. So whatever the formula guys we have written, now this formula, the output of this formula is actually stored inside a previous city. Now we are checking that if the current location of a user, if it is matches with the previous location, then we are going to return one. Otherwise, let's say zero. Okay. So we are going to return, let's say one. Otherwise, zero. Okay. Now that's all. Now if I just try to run it, let's see whether it is working or not. Yeah, so we got guys the output over here. So we are getting a lot of one. Now we just need to we need to just confirm it with the transaction time. Means we already have this column guys like time difference is minute. So we are going to just check that if the location change flag is one. Now guys, all these if I talk about the one, so it means that this particular user actually changed the location. Okay. In a particular timestamp, but we are not mention that number. Okay, so like definitely guys the user location can be changed. Okay, it is possible that right now I'm in Delhi and maybe tomorrow I can be in maybe some other location. I can be in Noida, I can be in Gurgaon, even I can be in Mumbai maybe tomorrow or maybe day after tomorrow. Okay, so and then over there also I can do some let's say the transaction. Okay, I can even make some bigger transaction. That is completely fine. That particular transaction should not be flagged, or that should not be the suspicious transaction. Okay. So over here we have not mentioned the like that particular timeline. Okay, that if you may if this location change. Okay, so guys, right now what we are getting, we are only getting this output that whether the location for a user is changed or not, and it is completely possible guys. You can see that for so many like a user, the location has been changed. Okay, and it is completely fine because the location can be like a different on a different day, let's say in a month or something. Now we need to make that condition. We need to make that like a particular boundary condition where I want to check that if that location change is happening within 120 minutes. Okay, within between let's say 1 to 2 hours. Okay, so if it is happening like less than like a 2 hour, if the transaction happened less than 2 hour or less than 1 hour, then I will call it as a suspicious one. Okay, so that is one thing we still need to create. But right now we are just getting that one column where we are getting as output as one or zero, which indicates that the customer or the user for whom the location has been changed, for them we are getting the output as one, and if it is not changed, then we are getting the output as zero. Okay, so yeah guys, I think we are okay with the formula. So first try to write this formula guys again. And this time guys, I think you already aware of this earlier function because this is what we have used earlier. So just try to write it down. Just make sure that you do not make any mistake with respect to the comma or with respect to the like a bracket. Just try to first complete it. Then I will again come on to this formula for the let's say the deeper explanation if you miss anything. Although it is related to very much similar to yesterday, but still, if you miss anything, I will try to like relate it again. But first, complete that formula, complete it, and let me know if there is any like a doubt or question you have. Well, guys, everyone. Okay, so again, guys, this formula is actually going from bottom to top, just like yesterday. Okay, so the very first thing we have done is we have created one variable as previous city, just to make sure, guys, like this variable will actually store like the city used in a previous transaction for the same user. Okay, so that's why we just to make sure that just to improve the readability or like avoid any repetitive like calculation, we have created this like new variable over here. Now over here there is it goes in a similar way. So we are using the filter over here. So in the filter, we are just trying to like create a table with the rows of which actually contains the rows of like same user, and then we are checking that if any earlier transaction time is matching with the current time. Okay, so that is what we are checking it over here with the help of like earlier over here. So the earlier, guys, in this case refers to the value of the current row. Okay, so that is what we are actually taking it over here, and then finally we are returning this like checking that if the current user location and if it is changed, then we are returning as one. If it is not changed, then we are returning simply the zero. Okay. So definitely, guys, wherever you are getting that one, it means that the location has been changed. Now, right now, we are just checking that if the location has been changed. Okay, so but definitely only on the basis of this criteria that the location has been changed, we cannot simply say that this particular transaction is a fraudulent one or this can be the suspicious one. We need that like a time stamp. We need to that add that particular boundary that if there's any change in a location within let's say a 120 minute or within let's say 90 minute, because we have, guys, this column as time difference in minutes. So we already have this column, so we can actually try to utilize this column and check that if the location is actually changed. Okay, so let's say for any user where I can see the output is one. So if the location has like a change in before like 120 minute, like 170 minutes are there, so then I can flag this transaction as a fraudulent one or maybe the suspicious one. Okay, so for that, guys, again we need like a new column over here. Now inside that new column I can simply write that like a condition, let's say we can, okay, it is still working on it. Now we can write it as rapid location change. Now we have to check that if let's say we have created that column called location change flag. So we can check that if the location change flag is equals to 1. Okay, so definitely, guys, first we have to just filter out that user data who's like for whom the location has been changed. Let's say the customer who didn't like change that location, then we don't have any problem. And then the second condition which we have to write it over here is that if that particular location change in within the time difference of less than or equal to, let's say, 120 minutes. If it is true, then my output will be 1, otherwise it will be 0. Now I can simply try to close the bracket. And now, guys, it's I guess again a very simple formula we have created. Now I can see, guys, that yeah, these are the actually customer who changed the location within 20 minutes, and then the transaction happened in that like a case. Now definitely, guys, these customer, I can actually flag them or I can actually tag them as a suspicious one. Okay, because definitely, guys, they are the like a suspicious one. Okay, so yeah, guys, is it like clear to everyone?
Shivam, I have a doubt.
Yeah, sure.
Um, so in the previous, the formula, the max location you have given, no?
Mm-hmm.
So in that location, how we are giving the column is a categorical column, then how come it will find out the location of the previous transaction?
No, no, I'm not getting it here. Like what is that? Max of previous location means we are
Yes,
checking the latest location with max, no?
yes.
Mm-hmm.
It
Then
is a categorical data, no? The location is a categorical data. It is a text. So won't
yeah,
it?
correct.
It will give alphabetically a greater one only, no, in the results. Is it?
No, no, because you can see like over here also it's a categorical data. Since you're writing this condition in such a way like okay, even let's say for this gaming flag also when we have created it, okay, so if I write that okay, if the transaction happened for some betting or maybe a gaming, and then if I want my output as 1 or 0, so yeah, we can actually do that. And let's say let me first open that code for you. I think you are asking about we are asking about this. Yeah.
Yes.
So now over
Max
here we are
sheet
not
of user
using that
location.
greater than or less than with respect to, let's say that what I can say, the location data like the text data. We are applying this lesser than onto the timestamp data. Okay.
Okay. Here it will be
and
selecting
and
all the
this and this sign which you're looking at the end, let's say if you're confusing with this, so this is not like in Power BI language, it's not like a symbol of lesser than or greater than. If I'm
it is
using it,
inequality.
yeah, if I'm using both together, then it is for the equivalent, it is not for,
Inequality.
yeah, it is not for the lesser or greater than. So over here we
Yes.
are using this lesser than. So this lesser than is we are checking with respect to the timestamp.
No,
Okay.
actually, I'm asking how it selects the location, max of sheet of user location you have given, no?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
So that only will be fine after filtering all the rows. And this previous city will be having the value that is selected by this function, max sheet of user location. Is it right? After filtering the rows
Mm-hmm.
from the table and
Mm-hmm.
satisfy if the conditions satisfy, it will be selecting the location from this max sheet of user location. No? So in that case, will it give the correct location?
Current location. Like this max over here will give you the latest location of of the user. And over here I think if you're checking with the filter and earlier are actually working together over here, that I think you may be looking into this whole phase. Yeah, this is what you're asking, that what like the output are getting into this
Yes.
from the filter. So yeah, definitely it gives you the location of what I can say, the look the look the previous location of what I can say, the the customer, this whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So then only you are checking, because let's say if I talk about the outputs over here, so if my so it is also related with the transaction time. So if let's say there are four, if I talk about the same user, okay, so user one, user one, user one, and user one. Okay, so let's say I just take the user one for the full time. Now the transaction time for the same user, I'm not looking for the another user over here. The transaction time of the same user is, let's suppose that it is 10, then 10:30, then 11, and then 12. Okay, so 10, 10:30, 11, and 12. Now, for the first instance, let's say the city is Delhi. Okay, means the first time when he like done any transaction, so the city is Delhi. Now the second time when he done the transaction, so that city is again Delhi, like at 10:30. So the city is again Delhi. Now in that case, what will happen? Like because you don't have any previous data, so for the first time, okay, so for the first time in this like location change flag column, for the first time you'll get the output as 1, okay, because you don't have any previous data. But for the second time at like with the transition time at 10:30, you'll get the output as 0 because the location has not been changed. But let's say at 11, if the location is changed to like Mumbai, now in that case you're getting that 1 again because the location gets changes. Okay, in the output you'll get 1 as the output because the location gets changes. Again, because it is a concurrent process, it is a continuous process. So again, let's say at 12, because I'm talking about the same user. So at 12, if we make some transaction, and then location is still like Mumbai. So again, the output will be 0 itself because the location has not been changed at all. Okay. So we are actually checking for let's say if there's just one user. So I'm checking for that one user because that one user can have can make multiple transaction in a different time stamp, and that too from a different location. Okay, so right now we are just checking that if the location is changed or not for any particular user. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So previous city, this whole thing which I have like I think right now which I have highlighted right now, this gives you the previous city of the user. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So now guys, I think we got all the 4 boundary conditions over here. Now going forward, the important thing is, so let's say guys, definitely we have just created like 4 boundary conditions over here. Sorry, 5. But with that 5 boundary conditions, sometimes you can see that we need to create a new column. Okay, because let's say for this boundary condition also, it cannot be created from the limited number of columns which you have. Similarly, the earlier boundary condition which we have created, like with respect to the time difference. Okay, so again for that we require the new column needs to be created over here there. And that's why guys you can see that how many new columns you have created over here. So you can, if you try to count it out over here, so you have like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 new columns you have created for creating those 5 boundary conditions. Okay, now guys, when I think yesterday I have shown you some like one KPI also. So at the top of this report guys, okay, so like definitely this boundary conditions what you have created, this is something this is something you are creating as the base for your report. Okay, this is definitely guys, let's say you cannot share this blank report. Okay, so let's say I cannot say that I am going to save this file, I am going to convert this into PDF or PPT and I will share with my client. Okay, that will not happen. Okay, because you will not definitely going to share this blank report with your client. Okay, what client will do with this blank report? Okay, in this report page, okay, so in this report page there must be some information. Okay, so always remember that whatever the formula we are writing, whatever the formula we are creating, these formulas or these tables, these columns are nothing but these are the base for our report page. Okay, so in the earlier session, guys, I just take I just take few charts just to explain you that okay, how to chart, how charts can be created, what kind of insights you can get it from there. Now in this session, since we talk about like how to create, let's say, multiple formulas, so all these things guys need to be combined when you're creating your final report. Okay, now let's say for this case study, so again if I come on to my case study, if I again come on to my problem statement, so the problem statement over here for my stakeholder or for my client, that my client wants to, let's say, understand that how you can maybe like how you can like identify any fraud transaction, or how you can identify any fraudulent like a behavior, suspicious like a transaction. And definitely guys, you want to understand, let's say if there are, if they have a data of last 20 years, if they have a data of last 5 years, if they have a data of last 1 year, then in the last 1 year, how many fraudulent transaction has been done? Okay, how many suspicious transaction has been has been done? Okay, now in order to like create that report, guys, in order to create this whole end-to-end report, we first need to create, again we need to follow the same approach. We first need to create some KPI, then we need to put some chart. Okay, so whatever the new columns you have created, now by using those new columns, you need to create some charts over there. Okay, like let's say with the head with the help of that location, or the location column which you have created, with that you can try to create some map chart to show your output or show your finding in a visual format. Okay, because definitely we cannot share this like a blank report page with our client, okay, or with our manager. We need to put some like a visuals over there, like whatever the blank space you are looking at right now. In this blank space, whatever the formula you have generated, whatever the boundary conditions you have generated, now you have to put it inside some chart. You have to take the help of some chart and you have to drag it in this white space, so that that same information can be shared, the same information can be understood from by your client or by your manager. Okay, now in that case guys, before going ahead, or before starting with the like creation of the chart, or before starting with the creation of, let's say, those cards, I first try to do one thing, that I will try to create one last column over here, because uh, uh, at a time guys when I want the KPIs. So definitely I want multiple KPIs over there, like and out of those multiple KPIs guys, let's say I want the first KPI is maybe my total transaction, then I want the second KPI as then let's say that related to the amount. Okay, so there are multiple KPIs which I probably want, and I can probably think of for those multiple KPIs. But one important KPI, guys, which I can probably want to understand, I want to find out, and that is going to be the, let's say, in terms of maybe percentage, that total number of, let's say, the suspicious transaction, or maybe percentage, okay, total percentage of, let's say, the high risk transaction, how many high risk transaction we have. Okay, now, in that case, guys, we have created 5 boundary conditions. Okay. Now, if I just try to repeat those boundary conditions, so I think the first boundary condition is that if there's a very high transaction happen, more than 4,000, so that can be first boundary condition. The second boundary condition, guys, which we have created is related to, let's say, the timing. Let's say if the transaction happened between 12 to 5. The third boundary condition, guys, we have created with respect to the time difference.
Hello.
Okay, so if the
Hello.
transaction happened in a quick time. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, Lakshmi. Hello. Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, so the fourth boundary condition we have created with respect to the merchant category. Let's say if you make a transaction for gaming or betting, and the last one, guys, we have created as a location change. Okay, rapid location change. Okay, now guys, all these like a boundary condition, I actually try to store in a numerical format like 1 and 0. Okay, now what I will do, guys, I will create a new column over here as a final risk score. Okay, so there are like 5 categories, guys. Okay, and let's say that definitely now guys, let me ask you a very general question. Okay, let's say if I make any transaction, it can be even high amount transaction, that is fine. So let's say if there's any emergency situation or anything happened with me or anywhere. Okay, and if I make that transaction maybe between 12 to 5. Okay, so in a very high and even guys in a very high-fi cities, where parties are going on till like a 12, till 12, till 1, till 2. So in that case also, that high transaction can be happen between 12 to 5. Okay, that is actually normal in that scenario. Now is definitely I cannot just rely on that one condition. Okay, so let's say if someone make a transaction between 12 to 5, I can definitely find it as bit suspicious. I can try to inquiry about it, but I cannot be 100% sure that okay, it is going to be a completely suspicious one or it is going to be a fraudulent one. Okay, so I can probably try to make a classification, guys. I can try to make a category over here that what can be the very like let's say if there's any transaction, I can try to tag it as a high risk category or maybe the low risk category, okay, or maybe the medium risk category. And for that, guys, let's say if there's any transaction which actually following all the five boundary condition, which is actually falling inside all five boundary conditions. Okay, now that transaction, guys, can be a highly risk. Like let's say I can flag it as a high risk transaction. Okay, or I can tag it as a highly suspicious transaction. Okay, if it actually make if the transaction happened between 12 to 5, then if the quick transaction happened between like 15 to 20 minutes, and if there's a rapid change in a location, if that transaction happened on a betting or a gaming app, and then if that transaction, I think one more we have, if that is a very high value transaction. So if all these five boundary condition is followed in any particular transaction, then definitely, guys, that will be the very high risk transaction. Okay, and definitely, guys, if let's say if just if anywhere if just there's just one criteria, if you're following just one boundary condition, okay, let's say in our if I take an example that definitely it is fine that we can make a transaction at night, it is completely uh, like a fine. So in cities like when and let's say it is a very small transaction, so definitely I cannot tag it as a like highly suspicious transaction. Okay, so even since either like even if we make like five boundary conditions, so if any transaction falling in all five boundary conditions, so definitely guys the probability over there is very high for the suspicious. And let's say if someone fall if any transaction is following just one or two boundary conditions, so definitely the that probability for both should not be same. Okay, and that is what, guys, we can try to create it over here. Okay, so we'll create a new column over here. I will just mark it as new column, and in this new column, guys, I am going to calculate something called as a fraud risk score. Okay, so I can try to calculate something called as a fraud risk score. Now we'll check, guys, that I will start with the one by one. So I will start with the first one. Let's say high value flag. Okay, this is the first one. Add up. The second condition, let's say we have this gaming flag as well. Then third one, again sheet, and let's see that what is the next one. It's late night one. Then again the next sheet, check that if rapid location change. And I guess, guys, we have one more, which is I think rapid transaction flag. Okay, so these are the five, let's say, the conditions we have. Now, definitely, guys, every time if my answer is one, so then only, guys, it will get add up. Okay, so let's say if anyone like if there's let's say if the first transaction, if I talk about the transaction ID with 000 or 5 times 06. Okay, now if this transaction ID is following the first condition, second condition, third condition, fourth condition, fifth condition, now in that case, guys, the fraud risk score will be 5. Now if the fraud risk score is 5, then I can definitely tag it as a like a highly risk transaction. Okay, but let's say if there's another transaction at 00013. Now if this transaction followed only second and let's say second and third condition, then I can tag it maybe the like a low risk or maybe the medium risk. Okay, now for that, guys, what we can do, we can try to create again a new column where I can try to make this classification. Okay, so I can just try to take this risk level. Okay, so you can see guys that somewhere the output is coming out to be 0. It means that this transaction is actually not falling in any of the category. Okay, then somewhere the score is 1. It means that it is falling into just one condition, or either two. So definitely guys, the transactions which I can see right now like over my screen, any of these transaction I cannot say that very high risk transaction. Somewhere you are able to see the value like 3. Now this can be the medium risky, and wherever I can see the value like 4 or 5, that will be the high risk. Okay, so definitely guys, if I just click on it, I can see that the maximum value guys which we have is 4. Okay, so it means that in this data set, okay, and definitely the data set is created by ourselves. In this data set, we don't have like any transaction which actually following all the 5 criteria. Okay, but fine. Okay, it is possible like in some other like scenario cases. Now I can try to create a new column over here where I can try to create that classification. Now, guys, whenever you are trying to create the classification by yourself. Okay, so earlier, guys, whenever we are using this like conditional thing that okay, if let's say this situation is correct, then my answer will be 1, otherwise 0. So in that condition, guys, we are using if. Okay, we are simply using the if. But right now, guys, that we need to probably create maybe 3 classes, or even it can be possible that I am creating 4 classes. Now whenever you try to create guys the classes like this, okay, so two more than 2 classes like 3 class, 4 class, 5 class, in that case guys we are using something called as a switch. Okay, so I can try to give a new name over here to my column, which is risk level. Now I can use the function guys called switch. Okay, now you can see guys that inside a switch you can give your expression, then the value 1, result 1, result 2, result 3, result 4, and so on. Okay, so I will start with switch. I have to make sure that every condition which I'm writing is if it is falling true. Now guys, I can start giving my values. Okay, so the first value I'm going to take fraud risk score. Now, if this score is greater than or equals to 4, then I will call it as a high risk. Okay. I will call it as a high risk. Then there will be a second condition. Now, what is the second condition? So the second condition is if my fraud score is greater than or equals to 2, then it will be a medium risk. Otherwise, it will be a low risk. Okay. So you can see guys that okay. Okay, so now I can see guys that I've just taken if the risk score is greater than equals to 4, then it will be high risk. If it is greater than equals to 2, then it will be a medium risk. Otherwise, like low risk. Okay, so low risk means if the score is like just say 1, then it will be like a low risk. Okay, so if you think that even 1 or 2 can both can be a low risk, then you can even remove this equal to sign from there. Okay. Now, if I just run it, so you'll see that again a new column will be created. And now this time, guys, you have this a new like a column for the classification purpose. Okay, so you can see guys that somewhere there's a low risk, somewhere there's a medium risk, and wherever the score is 4, you'll also see like that high risk like a value over there. Okay, is it clear, guys, to everyone? Just try to create both the columns and let me know. I think these like functions guys are definitely easier to understand if I compare it with the previous one. Yeah. So yeah, please let me know if there is any doubt or like any question from this. Yeah, guys. Done for everyone. Yeah, I know. Okay, so fine, guys. Now we have like all the like required, and even if there is any advanced column needed over here. So I think I have created all. Now, guys, again, I'm just repeating myself that this is what you say that it's a base of your like a report. Okay. So whenever, guys, if I talk about a real world scenario, if I talk about a real world data, so in real world data, guys, we cannot simply go ahead with the creation of the charts. Okay, we simply cannot go ahead with the creation of, let's say, fancy charts. Okay, six, seven charts are created. Okay, and it is done. Okay, it is not done. We need to there are like some sort of questions from the client side. There are some sort of let's say curiosity from the manager side, and we need to first fulfill it. We need to think that how we can actually fulfill it, and then we need to then we can probably try to create the report. Okay, now in this report page, guys, so let's say if I just ignore the new columns which we have created, then definitely, guys, you have nothing to show even on the very first place to your client. Okay, so let's say if I just talk about the initial data set which we have. Now in the initial data set, guys, so from the initial data set, if I try to think that, okay, what maybe the KPIs I can generate, okay, from the initial data set, not like from that new columns now which we have created. So from the initial data set, guys, according to the problem statement, related to the problem statement, we probably don't have even maybe two KPIs which I can generate and I can show to my like client or the manager that, okay, this is like the KPIs of this like a report, or these are the KPIs of this like case study. Okay, but now, guys, since we have created I think 10 new columns over here based on like a boundary conditions, based on like a problem statement. Now I think we have around six or seven KPIs which we can actually show on the very first place to my client. Okay, now if I just try to list down those KPIs, so it is going to be the start with, let's say, the basic one, which is going to be the, let's say, total transactions. How many total transactions are there into my data set? Then we can talk about, guys, let's say the total transaction amount. I can even talk about, guys, the high value transactions. Okay, so I can even check that how much total high value transactions are actually happened, how much total late night transactions are actually happened. Like then we can even talk about, guys, the high risk transactions. Okay, so we can take account of all the high risk transactions. So in that way, guys, now we have around five or six, or at least I can say that seven maybe, the KPIs which I can show on the very first place to my client. Okay, so yeah, guys, I think we are good to go. So let's start with that KPIs formation. So you can start with the very first one. That's a total transaction in numbers, then total transaction amount, then total high value transaction, total late night transactions. Okay, so at least you can try to create the first four, and then I will tell you that what the next can be created. Okay. So I will take a short break over here for 3 to 4 minutes. I will drink some water and continue. Meanwhile, guys, if you're doing it, so you can start creating your KPIs from the first one. Okay. Okay, guys. So yeah, coming back. So tell me, guys, that if you have created any of the KPI card till now. Okay, so fine. I will start like creating those cards over here. So I will first start with the very first card over here. Let's say the okay, and you all know, guys, that you can just try to take all the possible KPIs which you think that can be added over here, and definitely, guys, that like after formatting the one, we can try to just try to repeat that formatting on two others in a similar way. Okay, so I will start with the first one. That's transaction ID. I will take it over here, and I actually want the let's say the total count of the transaction ID. Okay, so the total count of the transaction ID is actually 800. That's fine. Now, similarly, guys, I will first try to create all my KPIs card over here, which I think that that is important. I will again copy it and paste it over here. Now, this is like third one. Then we have, let's say, the fourth one. Then we have, let's say, the fifth one. And okay, so I guess guys, it's fine. It's a kind of a case study where definitely six KPIs can be added without any like a problem. So let me just take it all this one by one. Just try to shift it a bit so that more KPI card can be added over here. Okay. So by shrinking the size, guys, a little bit, we can definitely try to add like more KPIs. Just one more, guys. I want to add it over here because I still have like enough of space. So fine, guys. Now these are the KPIs we have. Okay. So six KPIs, guys. I want to add it over here. Now I told you that the first KPI is going the total transaction. Now the second KPI, guys, which I wanted like over here is going the total transaction amount. Now for that, guys, there's a transaction amount column we have. I can simply try to drag and drop it over here. Now this will give me the sum of transaction amount. Okay, so definitely, guys, you know that we'll change the title for like each and every like a card, and then it looks more better. Then we have the third KPI over here. Now for this third KPI, guys, what I want, I actually want, guys, all the high value transaction. Okay, so we actually created this column, guys, as high value flag. I just want to check, guys, that how many high value transactions has been made. Okay, it means like how many in total how many transactions are there where the value is probably greater than 4,000. Okay, so according to this like a data set. Okay, now for that, guys, I cannot actually simply take this column over here. Okay, so I think in this column we have actually both the output like 1 and 0. So we just can try once, but I guess this column actually, if I just take a sum of it, okay, so I think, guys, this also works. Okay, so I first thought that maybe I need to create the new measure over here, but I think that this also works because when I take the sum of high value flag, so in this column, guys, we have simply 1 and 0. Okay, so we can try to cross verify it from here. So in this let's say the high value flag, we just have 1 and 0. Okay, so where is that high value flag we have? So this is the column I think which we have created. Okay, so yeah, we just have 1 and 0. So definitely, guys, one means that that transaction amount is greater than 4,000, and if it is lesser than 4,000, then the value will be 0. Now, guys, when we are taking a sum of it, so definitely only ones are actually getting added. Okay, definitely the zero will not get it added, or if zero get added, so it will not make that total sum. So if let's say if I'm getting the output as 28, it means that out of total 800 transactions, 28 transactions are actually we have 28 such transaction where the transaction amount is greater than the that suspicious amount, or I can say the let's say the more than 4,000, the value which is given in this like a case. Okay. Um, Now the next one, guys, is going to be the late night transaction. Now we can actually do the same thing, guys, over here also. So for late night transaction, I can again try to just drag the late night and I can drop it over here. Now there are 202 transaction has been made uh, between that time period 12 to 5. Okay, so that's a late night transactions we have. That's a total number of late night transactions actually we have. Okay. Then the next thing, guys, which I want to actually understand it over here, or which I want inside my KPI, is what? Okay, so let's just think of it that what else can be added over here, guys. Okay, so I think this is fine. Even we can take it in terms of percentage also. That makes that looks more good. But I think this is also fine. Uh, Even guys, we can make let's say that uh, I think one more boundary condition we have created over here, which is what is that? Rapid transfer transaction flag. Okay, so this can also be taken like how much transactions are there where which is like makes in a quick time. Okay, so this can be taken, or I think, okay, we can definitely get that high risk count. Okay, so we can take one, we can create one over here as the total high risk transactions. Okay, so I think we have created that classification where we have classified between high, medium, and low risk. So we can create one more, which is let's say the total high risk count. Okay, or the total highly risky transactions or highly suspicious transactions. Okay, so that is one more KPI we can create over here. But guys, for that, actually, it's a part of a categorical column. Okay, so it's a text column we have. So like we can take it from the risk level. Okay, so from this column risk level, I need to actually check that how many such transactions are there where the risk level is actually the high one. Okay, or the score is greater than 4. Okay, now for that, guys, we need to create a measure over here that cannot be directly taken inside the card. So we have to create a new measure over here. Okay, not the column, just like a new measure we need to create over here. Now that new measure, guys, is nothing but I can give it a name as high risk count. Okay, and I just want to count that how many total transactions are there, which is let's say highly risky. So for that we can use a function called calculate over here. We can then try to want to count that total number of rows over here, guys. So there's a function called count rows, I guess. Yeah, so I can use this function called count rows, and I can just try to like count. Okay, so first I have to give my table name, and then I can simply try to, let's say, count that column. Okay, so this is fine. Count uh okay, this should be closed over here itself. Yeah, now it's, yeah. So now there's a column called risk level. Now I have to take account of only those where the risk level is high risk. Okay. So I think, guys, I already told you that this calculate function over here will try to filter out the data. Okay. So you're trying to use this function in order to count that total number of rows, okay? But you want to filter out only those data. You just want to filter out only those rows where the output is high risk, okay? And then you want to take account of only those rows, not all, okay? So this calculate guys over here will actually do the filter for you. Now if I try to just press enter, so a new column will be created and that new column name is high risk count. Okay. Now this is what guys we can try to actually drag it and drop it inside this like a card. So I can just try to remove it and I can try to drag this high risk count over here. So that total 10 high risk count we have means out of total 800 transactions, there are 10 suspicious, I can say the transaction we have actually over here. Okay. Is it guys clear till this part to everyone? I think these five KPIs which we have created, is it clear to everyone till now? Yeah. Guys, and please try to create it along with me so that there should not be more there should not be any problem to understand all this. Okay. And guys, I think one more card is left, so I will just take that one also. That rapid transaction, like a flag, means how many such transaction we have, which actually made in between just in between 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, so that is again fine. I can just try to take this at the last one and this at the second last. Okay. Now, guys, six cards we have created over here. Now, definitely, guys, these cards actually are really important. This gives a lot of information about our data set, and definitely, guys, without creating the boundary conditions which actually we have created, we are not able to actually create the last four cards which we have created over here. Okay, and definitely, guys, this is the very first set of information which your client is able to know, which your client is able to understand by looking into your report. Okay, definitely the other things will also come, but the other things will come later on. These numbers are the very first thing which your client will actually check and actually understand that okay, what is going on. Okay, so now definitely guys, if you check that okay, there are total 10 fraud or maybe the high risk transactions has been happened out of 800. So in terms of number guys, it is fine, but it has actually happened guys. Okay, so the fraudulent transactions are not happen on a daily basis. Okay, so the fraudulent transactions are actually even maybe out of 100 there may be just one fraudulent transactions. Okay, out of maybe 1000 there may be just two or three fraudulent transactions. Okay, so the 10 is even a genuine like a numbers over here. Okay, so it's not I can say that very high or very low, but yeah, it's a genuine number which we are actually having right now over here. Okay, now what I need to do is that's what guys we are, even we have done earlier. We need to definitely design. We just need to format all these cards, and for that guys we know that we don't need to do the formatting for which each of these cards separately. Okay, I can just try to format the first card, and whatever the formatting guys I will do with the first card, I can just try to copy that same formatting till the end. Okay, so I will select guys the first card over here, and then I can first try to let's say remove the label from that from the bottom, because I don't want that. Then I can try to take write the name of the this card by okay, so into the title, so I will write it as, let's say, the total transactions, so that way these things should be clear to everyone. Okay, I can just try to bring this total transaction thing in the middle. Okay. After that, guys, now we can go on to the effect, trying to just add some like a border. Okay. I can make it, let's say, the rounded border over here. I can even try to add the shadow. Color is fine if it is black for a time being. Okay. So now again, guys, right now I'm not we are going step by step, chapter by chapter. So this is like the second thing, which is actually the DEX formula. So we are combining the things one by one. So I'm not right now focusing on like the themes, okay, and all. So definitely there should be a standard theme which you have to take, and whatever the theme or the color which we are going to take, that the same color we need to follow throughout all the pages. Okay. So but yeah, that will like discuss like later on. Right now our priority is to understand that okay, now we discuss two things, now how we can combine those that knowledge and make one full-fledged like a report. Okay. So fine, guys. I think this is fine. Let me just check this box. Yeah, this looks like better if I compare it with the previous one. If you just want to check, maybe the border is already rounded. I think width is fine. Yeah, shadow is on. That is fine. I think. In the card layout, there is something called as okay, 1 second. Yeah, there's something called as ascent bar. This is what we can try to add. Okay, so that line will come. I guess yeah, that then it is fine. Glue, I don't think it is required. I think we tried to do it like last time also. We got some like problem. So position is center, position over here also. Let's try to bring it in the center. Okay. Okay. So this is fine. Okay. Let's not make it. Let's not spend time over here. This is what we'll do later on. Now, if I want to get same formatting for the other cards, I just try to use this format painter and apply it over here. Okay. So just again use it. Again use it. Okay, and you can see guys that somewhere the size is actually a bit mismatched. Okay, so that is also something else which we can actually try to fix. Okay, so right now I'm just trying to arrange. I'm just trying to focusing on let's say the arrangement. Okay, but even guys, yeah, these card. In a standard like a process, we need to make sure that the size of the card should be like the same. It should not be like having let's say a different width or let's say the height. Okay, so I think this is good. Uh, yeah. Now, just the title, guys, needs to be changed for each and every like KPI. Okay, right now there's a I have not changed the title or the for KPIs. So now this is actually the total transaction. Now you don't need to take care about the like the color and all, because this is going to the same. Okay, so the total transactions I can say, or the total transaction amount I can say. Okay, similarly, this is uh, what is the sum of high value flag. Okay, so I can simply write it as total high value transactions. Okay, so I can simply take it as a high value transactions. Then the next guys, I can take it as let's say the late night transactions. Next, we can write it as what is this? Uh, okay, I think rapid transactions. And finally, final one, guys, is going to be the let's say high risk transactions. Okay, so just write it as high risk transactions. So fine, guys. We got all the important outputs over here. And now going forward, we can now talk about, guys, the charts, which again, guys, we need to look after only the important charts, guys, over here, because again, in the first like a chapter, guys, we are just understanding that what are the different options we have. Okay, now here comes that like whenever you have like a real world like a problem statement, now you have to think that, okay, what are the charts you can actually use to get some insights. Okay, because definitely it's not about just adding or creating the fancy charts. Like if I'm creating any chart, guys, over here, that chart should come up or that chart should give you some sort of an information, some sort of the output. Okay, so first let me know, guys, that if everyone has like completed till this part. Yeah, that formatting, guys, okay, let's say if you are not having the exact same format, if you have something else, that is completely fine. That is something which you can try to explore and check. But yeah, the basic like KPI creation is done for everyone. Yeah, can we now move ahead with the charts? Yeah, okay, guys. So now, guys, there's one more thing before even creating the very first chart and all. I will add one more thing, guys, which we have not added yet. Like that is what we call, guys, the title for this particular report page. So whatever the things, guys, you are creating, it is important to give the title on the top. Okay. So let's say for this particular like a report, what is my title is? So my title is, let's say let's say we are creating something, I can write it as identifying suspicious transactions report. I can simply try to increase the size. Okay, so this is what, guys, you can try to do. Just try to select the text box. Then you can just try to select any let's say the font type. Okay. I'm actually selecting the this one, which is I think the name is Vardhana. Increase the size. Let's make it 28. Bring it in the middle. This is what, guys, I have. Now I can just try to drag it because it's a title for my. Mhm. So you can just try to drag it and take it on the top. Okay. Guys, on the right hand side, always leave some space. Okay, so I will show you that why I'm leaving that space, because definitely, guys, later on we are going to let's say create some we are going to create let's say some like a slicer. Okay, just to make this report more dynamic. Okay, so for that purpose, guys, always leave some space on the right hand side. Okay, so I think that's it. I can just try to see into the effect the visual border. Okay, this is perfectly fine. Yeah. So now guys, this is what we have on the top. Okay, so this with this guys, you are just trying to make sure that the title should be given on the top. That like whatever you are developing, whatever the report or a dashboard you are reporting. So what is the purpose of it? Okay, so the title should be given on the top, which from where it is very much clear that okay, what are all the thoughts you have, what are all the things you are going to create it over here. Okay. So you can do the same thing, just try to use a text box and put the title on the top. Okay. Make sure that leave some space on the right hand side for the slicers. Now, guys, I can start with the creation of the chart. Okay. Now, the very first thing, guys, which we can try to create. So now, guys, first try to create those charts or the kind of a chart through which you can first try to, in the very first phase, you can try to show your boundary conditions. Okay. So the first few, or let's say the first two or three charts you have to create just to show just to make sure that whatever the boundary conditions we have created, you want to show that boundary conditions over here. Okay. So for that, guys, I will first create the chart. Let's say this column chart over here. I will start with the simplest one. I will take this column chart. Okay. And now, guys, you also are able to understand about the adjustment because now you are adding let's say multiple charts over here. So you also need to understand about the adjustment that okay, definitely the adjustment are really important because we just don't have the entire space. Okay, so definitely you have the another page also. But in the first page itself, if I want to put, let's say, two or three visuals, so it should be very much like clear. Okay, so let's say this is the very first page where I can see I can say that okay, this is the overview of my report or overview of my whatever the dashboard I'm creating. So I will take my first chart over here as let's say the column chart and make sure get the size is bit like a smaller so that the other chart can also be adjusted over here. Now over here, guys, what I can take on the axis, on the x-axis, I can take the hours, okay, and on the y-axis, guys, I can see I can take the transaction count, okay. So there's a column we have as transaction ID. That this I can take on the y-axis. Now this shows, guys, the transaction count, okay. Now with this column chart, guys, let me first show you and then I will try to format it according to our like standard. So now over here, guys, you can actually observe if I go into the focus mode. So by looking into the chart, we can actually check that how much transaction has been done in that first like a phase between 0 to 5. Okay, because that this is what, guys, the one of the boundary condition we have added. Okay, so I can first try to check that I can see that night spike. Okay, so I can see like where this spike is like present. Okay, so you can see here that maybe at around 2 there are around 40 transactions has been done. Okay, so around 40 transaction has been done at 2, and you can see here that between 0 to 5 definitely there are a lot of transaction has been actually taken place, where maximum transaction has been taken place let's say at 2 and at 5. Okay, then around like 35 transaction has been done at 4, less than 30 transaction has been done like at 3, again less than 30 transaction has been done at like 1, and at 12 there 30 transaction has been done. Okay, so if I even take a sum of it, so it comes out to be that 207 what number we are getting it over there. Okay, so you can actually see, guys, the spikes at the night time, and you can actually observe that yeah the at this time also. So you can even come on to that point that okay, this is maybe the general scenario that this is the normal scenario that the transaction actually happened at night. Okay, so this is not some like a suspicious case, and that's why I told you guys that if let's say any transaction following into this category or falling in just one category, so I cannot simply believe that it's a fraudulent one, okay, or it's a suspicious one. Okay, so because you can see here that like 40-50 transactions or 40-30 transactions happening in that like a time zone between 12 to 5. Okay, So now, guys, I can just try to let's say make it a bit better. Okay, so I think there are around a lot of lines are created over here. I can try to check with the bar chart if it looks good. Uh, okay, with the bar chart also, we are getting like a similar visual over here. If I check it with the line chart. Okay, I think this is probably a bit better. Yeah, and I can try to even format it. Okay, so I just change it to the line chart, guys, just to just that column chart with that the line length is increases. It doesn't look too cool. Okay. I can try to add the labels. The labels even I can try to highlight it. So I can make this value as 10, make it bold. Similarly, guys, the title can be changed. Okay, so we have the transaction count, not the transaction ID, transaction count by hours. Uh, okay, and you can even, guys, we can try to make it bold, bring it in middle. Okay, so I think now this is fine. From the accesses, guys, we can try to remove those numbers and everything because that is something we don't require it over there. It's already written that we have created this chart as transaction found by hours. We can also try to get rid of the y-axis label and y-axis title. So I guess we even don't require that. Okay. Now, yeah. So the size for these can be increases later on. Okay. Now this is fine, guys. So we got our first like a chart over here where we can see the like a transaction count with like hours. Okay. I hope, guys, that this chart is clear to everyone. Yeah. Any doubt or like a question from this chart? I don't think that there's any difficulty to create this. Yep. Guys, did you complete the first chart over here?
Why the labels are not shown in all places?
Which label?
Then the counter.
Okay, this count, but it is showing, I think, let's say, if you just increase the size, you get like more. You can increase the size, you get more. Okay, depends upon how much space is there, na?
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, done, guys. Now the next thing is we can now try to create our next like a chart over here. So I think first we have created by art. Now the second, guys, you can try to create by the let's say something called as some merchant category. Okay. So now, guys, for the merchant category, I guess we can go ahead with that bar chart or the column chart. Now, guys, yeah, just try to create the same thing. Okay, I think again the funda is same over there also. You have to create the bar chart for and then take the count of like the bar chart. Take the count of the transaction for each merchant category. Do it, guys. I think this is a simple chart which you guys can definitely try it out. Just try to create a bar chart of for the different the transaction count for each of the merchant category. Okay, just to check that how many transactions are there in the like a gaming category. Okay, do it, guys. Everyone, try the second chart by yourself. Create a bar chart to get the transaction count for each of the merchant category. Okay, so three charts I will prepare on this page and then we'll move on to the next one. So create it, guys. Yeah, guys, just acknowledge me once it is done. Yeah, guys, anyone? Yeah, guys, is it done? Is it simple? I think you just need to create a bar chart to get the transaction the transaction count for different merchant category. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, guys, it's again very easy, like a chart which we can try to create. And even I will show you guys that again we even don't need to formatting like it over here, because right last time I'm creating on a different pages, but over here if I'm creating on to the same page, making sure that height and length are also same so that it align with the first chart. Now over here, guys, if I want to just do two things, okay, so I just want to take the merchant category on the y-axis, then similarly the transaction ID I think we have on to the x-axis. Now, guys, this is differently easier one. Now, if I want to just do the same formatting, I can just try to use a format painter and see, guys, that the same formatting has been done over here also. Okay. So you can just try to change the title if you want. Okay. So I just want to write it as the transaction count by merchant category. And definitely, guys, this is these things are actually required over here. So in the last case, we don't require the labels for any of this axis, Y and X axis, but this time, guys, we required it. So I can just try to increase the size and make it a bit bold so that it should be easily visible. Okay. I can just try to reduce the size of the first chart so that this chart can easily align over here. Okay. Now, yeah, guys, I can see that for which merchant category there's a maximum transaction, the maximum number of transactions actually. So we can see, guys, that I think for all the merchant category, there's a similar number of transactions we have. But even if I try to compare, so the in this data, guys, the minimum number of transaction has been done for food and beverages, whereas for utilities, there's a maximum number of transactions. Okay, we also have gaming in middle. Okay, and you can see that. There are 107 transactions for the gaming. Okay. So fine, guys, this is again one more chart we are getting it over here. And again, I can see, I can probably try to check along with our boundary condition that, okay, that gaming is like over here because we don't have that betting. Okay. So betting is actually a bit maybe a different. So we don't have that betting the category over here. So I can see that, okay, for gaming, again, there are 107 transactions because if there's 100 transactions for food and beverages, so 107 for gaming is like fine over here. Now I can see, guys, the next thing over here, which is going to be an important one and can give you the overall view of this report page. Okay. So I told you guys that like whenever you are creating something with this for the real world case study or to understand the real world data, that cannot be created in one single page. Okay. So this page I can just try to write it as or I can dedicate this page as the I can name it as a, let's say, executive summary or executive overview of like overall overview of this whole thing. So that's the reason, guys, I'm just going to add one more chart over here, but definitely we require more pages to understand the complete report end to end. Okay. Now in the next, so definitely, guys, since I've added the KPIs over here, now definitely in the next report or in the next page, you don't need to add the KPIs. You have even that space left where you can try to add more charts. Okay. Now this over here, guys, I just add one more chart and then we'll simply try to add the slicers just to make it more dynamic. So that one chart, guys, which I can try to add, which again shows the overall summary or overall overview of this like a data or this report, is I can try to add the donut chart where I can see the percentage distribution of different risk level. Okay. So like you can see guys that there are 10 like a transaction, only 10 transactions for the high risk category. Now if I try to break it down in terms of percentage, so it may be just 1 or 2% out of, because out of 800 if there's just 10 transactions, so it may be just 1 or 2%. Similarly guys, that we want to see that how like in terms of percentage that uh, uh, what percentage of transactions are, I can drag it in a medium like a category, or and then what percentage I can take in a let's say lower category, or sorry, low risk category. Okay, so for that guys, at the end I can try to just add one more chart, and I'm just trying to make sure guys that there should be equal space for each chart, because that's how you try to create your report page. Just always try to make sure that this that looks the report page should looks healthy. Okay, so now inside this I can try to add my risk level. Okay, so I can try to add my risk label into the legend, and then I can try to add the transaction ID, the count of transaction ID into the values. Okay, now you can clearly observe guys that the output over here. Like before going on guys, I just tried to do the same, add the same formatting over here. So I got the count of transaction ID by risk level. Now I just try to change it because right now guys, I know that it's not just visible. So I make that visible. But before that, uh, I just format it. Now let's see guys that the output over here in the focus mode. Okay, so in the focus mode, getting the insights will be more easier. Okay, so let's now take it into the focus mode and let's see the output. So there's a 1.25%. Okay, so that's what I told you guys, that that may be just 1 or 2%. So 1.2% high risk transactions are there. Okay, then 27.13% medium risk transactions are there. It means that there are 27% transactions where the risk score is either 2 or 3. Okay, and then we have 573 such transactions where the risk score is actually just 1. Okay, means these are the low risk transaction. Okay, so this need to be verified just for one time. Okay, because let's say if there's a late night or high value. Okay, so this need to be verified just for once, and we can make sure that okay, this is not there's not like more risk, or there's not much risk associated with this. But yeah, definitely guys, this need to be verified properly, and even this can also be verified like in 1 or 2 steps. Okay, so you can just get the overview guys, the overall summary of your data set, that how many like a total high risk transactions are there. Okay, so in terms of percentage, I can take it down as like I can take it as just 1.25%. Okay, now even guys, this detail labels I can probably trying to convert into the all detail labels, so that everything will come at the single place. And then I can even remove the legend. Okay, because the already the names are coming, so I don't require the legend over here. Okay, so fine guys, now if you even want that the colors or anything over here, so we can just try to check it out that because those things are also possible. We just need to figure it out that where that options are like maybe present. Okay, so for a timing guys, we got this overview that how many let's say in terms of percentage, or in terms of even number, that how many high risk transactions are there into your data set. Okay, is it clear guys to everyone till this part? Yeah, I hope that this last chart, the donor chart, is also clear to everyone, and every one of you is able to create it. Okay, now just to complete this like a report page guys, there's one last thing which is left, and that is what because any report page guys cannot be completed and cannot be tagged as a completed without adding the slicers. Okay, so now at the end we can try to just add few slicers over here. Okay, now I can just try to take the slicers from here, and I can just drag and drop it over here. Now let's see here that I can try to add probably three slicer at least over here, because this is this store the executive summary of your let's say the report page. So I can try to take three slicers. I can first try to take the user ID over here. So there are so many like users. Let's say if I want to check for because definitely guys, if you just want to see that if you just want to check that those users who are actually belonging to this those 10 users, if you want to identify, okay, so for that guys you have that user ID on the top. Similarly, guys, we can try to add the another slicer, and let's say it can be copy and paste the another slicer over here. Now this could be the city I can try to take, means user location. I can try to drag it over here. Uh, and since guys, again, I told you that it holds the summary or the overview of your data. So this can also have, let's say the last, I can try to adjust it over here, and this can have the risk level. Okay. So now we have risk level over here, and that's all. Now, guys, you already know that what needs to be done in this like a scenario. So first we can just try to do the formatting from here. Okay, just to make sure that all the formatting looks like the same. So I can just try to select it and just try to check. Okay, so select it and drop it over here. Now, okay, nothing is happening because it's I think slicer. So let me just do one thing. Go into the slicer setting and make it a drop down, because there are a lot of user guys. Okay, so we cannot definitely have such a slicer with lot of user. And similarly, I can try to adjust it. Then let's do a bit of more formatting guys in the first slicer, and we can simply copy it for the others. We don't want the slicer header over here, or I think slicer header are actually fine. I can just try to make it like bit bold and increase the size. Along with that, guys, what else can be done is I think rest of the things are like okay. So for a time being, I can just try to use a format painter form here and put it over here. Uh, Take it. Okay, yeah, okay, it is happening, but it not changing the I think the setting. Now the same goes for guys the risk level. Yeah. And just do one more thing for my painter and uh, drop it. Now, guys, you got three slicers on the top. Okay, I think it's not changed. Okay, I'm just trying to drag it. Yeah. So now, guys, you can see that you got three slicers on the top, which is like a user ID and user location and the risk level. Now, guys, till now, I have shown you that, okay, let's say if I just try to click on the medium risk. So I got all these numbers or all these things according to the medium risk. Okay, now you can see, guys, that in case of medium risk, you can see that how many transactions are there at 2. Okay, so there are 15 transaction at 2 p.m. In case of like medium risk. There's a 10 transaction at like 1 a.m. In case of medium risk, and so on. Okay, so these are the things we can check. Then similarly, we can see guys that in case of medium risk, there are 41 transactions. Okay, so maximum. Okay, so 41 transaction has been done for the gaming category. Similarly, guys, in the low risk, you can see, guys, that if I talk about the gaming category, guys, so you can see that there's a least number of transactions. Okay, whereas if I talk about the high risk, so in that case, you can see, guys, that again the gaming category is actually on the top. Okay. So in this way, guys, you can try to, this is what I have told you, that you can try to utilize the slicer. Okay. But let me tell you guys one more thing very honestly over here, that right now, let's say if I have multiple users over here, and if I just click on any one user, okay, so user 1025, so he's definitely not, you can see that how many transactions this user has done. So he has done like total 9 transactions. Many transaction he has done at like 4. Then you can see the total transaction amount for a particular user. Okay. At the same time, guys, let's say there's a high risk transaction thing we have. Okay, so there are 10 count for the high risk transaction. Now let's say, guys, that if I just click on this blue pie, okay, so there's a very small area where this pie is present. Okay, but if I just try to click on it, okay, let's see. If I just try to select, guys, that high risk transaction, okay, and now if I want to see the numbers over here, okay, so you can actually check, guys, that there are total 10 high risk transaction. This is what we already know. The total amount, guys, you can see that it is 13.67 thousand. Okay. The high value, guys, transaction are just one in this case, but it means that there are another factors. There are the 4 factors which are actually influencing this transaction to be more suspicious. All these transactions, guys, happen at the late night. Okay, all the 10 transactions happen at a late night. And the important thing, guys, you can see that all these 10 transactions happened rapidly between 15 to 20 minutes. Now, guys, the next thing, if I'm just checking if I'm just checking the user over here, so definitely from this point you're not getting that user. But now, guys, let's say that if I page, if I try to take this user list in a table instead of taking it, so right now, guys, I have taken this user ID into the slicer. Okay, so I'm not getting that list of 10 users who are actually falling in this high risk category. Okay, but let's assume that if that same user list, if I have inside a table, and then if I just try to select this pie, I will even get that those 10 users, okay, who are actually making this fraud, or who are actually making this high risk suspicious transactions. Okay, so you can see, guys, that Power BI is like actually very powerful, that even it's not necessary that every you just need to go onto the slicer to see the dynamic nature of the charts. Even if you just click on any of this bar, if you click on any of this pie, you will see that every data into your report will actually change according to that particular like category. Okay, this is actually not happen, guys, in any other business intelligence tool. Okay, so if I talk about like Excel or like Tableau, so this particular functionality is not there, that if I try to make if I want to make that particular dashboard as a dynamic one, I need to use the slicers over there. But you can see, guys, that these slicers are doing their job, but at the same time, if I just want to see the category wise changes, I can click on that particular like category. I can see that every number is actually changes, and we are getting all these numbers over here, which is actually falling inside this media base. Okay, so although I created the slicer for this also, okay, so I don't require it to create it to do it separately, but yeah, just I'm showing you just example. Okay, so because this can be done even, let's say, for the investment. Now again, you can see that is there any high risk transaction belonging to this? Okay, so you can see, guys, that in investment also there are 36 rapid transaction has been made. Okay, 28 transaction has been made at the late night. Okay, so you can actually see or check all these things. So even in the e-commerce, guys, also you'll definitely observe some late night transactions. Okay, so 28 transaction for the e-commerce also. Okay, high value transactions also are true in this case. In the investment also, guys, you will definitely get some like number in a simple way. Okay. Then you can see the healthcare. Okay, so 26 late night transaction for the healthcare, the amount. Okay, so everything, guys, you can actually check if you just click on that like a pie, the bar, or anything. Okay, so that is what makes this particular tool even more powerful. Okay, so this is I think, guys, it for like today. Now definitely still this case study is not completed, and that's what I'm trying to show you, that a single case study will take some time. If you trying to do it from in a, if you want to doing it for like some real world data, some real world scenario. Okay, so this is some sort of definitely guys a real world scenario. Even the data is created like by me only, the data is created from, let's say, my team only. Still guys, you can see that we definitely require let's say 2 or 3 pages to get this overall insights. Okay, let's say let's assume that if it is real world data, and if there's more like variety, if there's a more things over there, if it is a bit more complex, then again guys, it takes even more pages to get the final numbers. Okay, so that's what guys we are going to learn. I think is just a 4 day of this is a fourth day of this this program. Definitely going forward guys, you're going to see few more things added in this complete end to end like a structure. Okay, so I hope guys that today's like a thing this complete report page, the first report page is clear to everyone. Any doubt or any question before wrapping up the session, guys? Just try to save this file.
Shivam,
Yeah, I will share
I
it,
have
but
a question.
yeah, Lakshmi.
Here, to create a dynamic report, we need to use slices. Is it right?
Yeah, we are using the slicer, not
For
necessarily
creating
we need it.
dynamic reports,
Yeah.
otherwise it won't be dynamic, right?
Yeah,
The report
definitely.
won't
Dynamic
be.
means it. Yeah, if I want to see like any changes in a real time.
Okay, okay. So,
Yeah.
how should we decide what field should be included in the slices?
Like that again comes from the like your practice knowledge, like in this case, because I know that okay, I know this particular power of like power like this tool, that okay, I can click on the bar also, and I can see the changes. So since I have already used the merchant category over here, I have already used the risk level over here, so I have taken the different columns into the slicer, because definitely you are not able to use all the columns, maybe the categorical, maybe in the numerical. You cannot use all the columns on a single page. Okay, so you can see that whatever the columns are left, and whatever maybe if this column is actually required in the executive summary or in the executive overview, so in that way you can try to select.
Okay,
So it's solely based on like your data set, your problem statement, and the requirements.
okay. Uh, can
Okay.
we uh, uh, collaborate this with the web pages or websites of company?
No,
So,
no. This will be this. Let's say if I'm sharing this with anyone, so this will be shared as so if I need to share this with anyone, so I am sharing it as it is as my dashboard, or again, as I told you, that if we have the organization mail ID, I can share it. I can even we have this option over here. I can even try to export it into the PPT. So you can see that right now we're not getting that format since it's not we don't have that ID. So we can
no,
even try to.
I'm asking whether it is possible if you are doing it
No,
in a
no, no,
business.
that's what I'm saying. That's not possible with this like a tool.
Okay,
Yeah. So it will be shared in this format only.
okay. So only with Power BI we can see and use in such a way, such manner. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, anything else?
Shivam, just tell me one thing. Like Lakshmi has already asked you. So if we are sending to some corporate ID or some official ID this particular report, so will they be able to only see the report, or they can make changes on that report too? Like for us, we are getting the complete thing on the left hand side. On the right hand side, we are getting our Excel sheet as a report, and then we are getting the dashboards.
No, it's if you're sharing like if you're publishing it, and if you're sharing with that control, like it's just like the Excel file. Like let's say you have a Google sheet, you are sharing someone, and you are giving that access, that editing and all. So the office people can collaborate. Like I am working in that way, like with my let's say manager on our tracking system. So yeah, he can definitely make the changes. Definitely, I'm getting that notification, but he can make the changes.
And if I'm supposed to send it to my client or my stakeholder, I don't want them. I just want to them to
And
see
then
the.
you have this option when you
You
publish
have
it.
that
Then there's a
option. Okay,
yeah.
perfect. Thank you.
Just like
Thank you.
just like the Excel, there's a when
You
let's say
can
the
see
office people
sheet only
the
or
Google
something
Sheet.
like that.
Yeah, that either you can only view or you have the option for view and edit both. Okay, so it is
Okay.
similar to that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, guys. So I hope that the this is like everything is clear so far. So guys, just try to practice more and try to. I think now you have like a good idea about both the things. So I think tomorrow we are going to complete this. We probably need to add to the page 2 and page 3, and I think till the page 3 we are able to complete it. So you guys can also try it from your end to add, let's say, the second and third page, and you can try to show me your like a thought that okay, how you think to like what charts can be added for the second and third page. Okay, so that is what guys you can try to add from your end, and we'll then wrap up this case study tomorrow. Okay,
Okay,
so
thank you.
fine, guys. I hope yeah, thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the session. Thanks a lot.
Okay,
Bye
good night.
bye. Good night.